This is Steve Young for the Co-Roundtable. I'd like to share some thoughts a little bit on maybe what we could consider a new kind of product, whether it's a product or it's a service. This is the question. It's something intangible. It's when your product or your personality or your company identity is defined in some very particular way that presumably people would like, and so therefore there's added value. And this is the concept of brand or reputation. I will pay more money, perhaps, my wife will, for ice cream that's made by Haagen-Dazs than ice cream that's made by Breyers. And there are other people who will probably, Breyers is cheaper. And there are people who buy Breyers because they like it or because they like it's cheap. I'll pay more money for something completely intangible, which is my taste, right? I just think it tastes better. So I'll pay an extra $1 for a small container. There was a recent story. We've seen a lot of this going on in America because we are at variance with each other over cultural values, over identity factors, badges of identity. Are you with this or are you with that? How do you identify yourselves? People like to identify themselves in certain ways, and they're willing to pay more money for it. One sort of a way into this was we have two networks which tend to be on the sort of political cultural left, MSNBC and CNN, and they're losing viewers. Why are they losing viewers? Well, the article is that they're playing to the other concept, which is very used a lot in understanding markets and capitalism, is a niche. If you're in a niche market, your customer base is limited. But if you're selling taste, if you're selling identity badges, if you're selling validation of who people think they are, and people's tastes change, your business model is not going to generate the revenue that it did because people are no longer identifying with you. If we think about monetizing a brand, monetizing personal identity, I think immediately of Taylor Swift, who has a huge following among young women and girls, and she sells a lot of stuff. They will pay money for the Swifties, they're called. There's like a movement, it's like a cultural movement. They will spend money, good hard money, one to go to her conference or her concerts. I think she made during her Eras tour, a year ago now, $2 billion gross receipts. I mean, that's a lot of money. And are the fans going there just to hear the singing? Another thing that people talk about in terms of market forces is experience. It's totally intangible. You can't touch it, you can't see it, but people feel it. They will pay money for the experience. Another thing that comes to mind in terms of quote unquote selling is we're seeing with our president, Donald Trump, a number of events where people show up and the cost to get in these events is in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, contributing to some cause that Trump is supporting or to his political. On the one hand, that's a lot of money to be paid for nothing that you can touch or see or feel. On the other hand, if you buy a relationship and he appreciates it and he reciprocates, you have purchased something of value. I think Trump understands this, and understanding this buying and selling of these value propositions helps explain him. Trump properties, Trump's hotels. Now he's issued a Trump meme coin, which presumably lots and lots of people who value him, or they will buy and buy and buy, and its value will go up and up and up. On the other hand, we know from a lot of things that what goes up most likely will come down. But what is being sold here? What is capitalism producing? Is it a good? Is it a service? Thorstein Veblen wrote a long time ago about conspicuous consumption, that as a middle class emerges under industrialization and now postmodern capitalism, with a lot of money, and they have discretionary income, status goods, the house you buy, the clothes you wear, the car you drive, become important to you. And you will pay more money Just think about automobiles. The range in prices from the cheapest automobile to the highest automobile. What are people buying? They're buying the statement about themselves that in the old days with my grandmother, it was, I'm buying a Cadillac. I drive a Cadillac. That determines who I am, which is pretty important to me as a person. So she paid more money for a Cadillac than my mom and dad did for their Chevrolet. But I think we don't pay enough attention to this intangible side of capitalism.